So we're driving home, having a conversation. I got to tell you this story, and I feel something crawling on me, and I'm like,
you feel something crawling.
Yeah,
on
I'm
you.
in the driver's seat driving down interstate 65 miles an hour. And
You're coming home from the game.
Coming home from the game.
Something's crawling.
ULM. Something's crawling on me.
Where was the crawl happening?
Right on my chest.
On your chest.
Bare skin. Well, when I was calm because I don't want to panic.
It's happened to me many times.
So I just kind of just grabbed tightly, but not in a way where if this thing had teeth or a stinger, but when I grabbed it, I thought, this is big. And it was trying to squirm, and I told Missy, I said, I have caught something, some kind of insect that's on my body. And she's like, do what? I was like,
and you're driving at the time.
I'm driving.
You're on the I-20 bridge.
Yeah, I'm
so
on
there's no
I-
pulling over.
There's no pulling over. Can't pull over.
This is worse than looking at your cell phone.
Yeah.
There's something alive, and you've got your hand on
So
it, and
what's
it's bigger
weird-
than you anticipated.
Yeah, what's
Jase,
weird-
I haven't heard this story, so
Oh, I know.
you have my attention.
So my daughter and my wife start screaming. Now that's what I found the most bizarre.
So they're
She
screaming.
just starts screaming, and I'm like,
And they're adding excitement to
well,
whatever's
I'm
happening.
looking around thinking there are more critters. I was like, what are you screaming? She said, there's a bug on you. I was like, well, it's on me. She's like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? I said, when I get off I'm going to get off the interstate, pull over, and see what this is. I don't want to panic because seems big.
Nor wreck the vehicle.
Yeah, I don't want to wreck
but
the
they're
vehicle.
panicking.
They're full-blown panic. So I finally
Something's
get off.
crawling on you, and the women are screaming in the background. That's the ladies and gentlemen. That's the story coming forward.
So I pull over, and I thought, because I could tell this thing felt dangerous to me. I don't know why. My instincts told me I've got a critter that has teeth, or this is something that could hurt me.
Yeah.
And I can't believe it hadn't hurt me as of yet. And so I pulled over on the side of the road. It come by, so I lifted my shirt up, and I was like, I'm gonna just do 1, 2, 3, and just like drop it down because I had that prayer. I could tell I had it by the head. And so when I did it, I looked, and it was a wasp. Of course, when it hit the pavement, then I stepped on it, and I was like, "You doggone rascal!" Which how I didn't get stung is amazing,
Was
but
it
I
red
just
wasp?
happened. It was
Big
one of those
red?
guinea wasps.
Oh, yeah, those hurt.
And so I was like, how did that thing not sting me, So we get in the car, and they're still screaming. I was like, come look at this thing. No, don't even want to see it. So we drive home, had a few laughs, no big deal. Everybody, my crew goes to bed early. I'm a night owl.
So is this story still continuing?
Oh, yeah, it gets better.
This is the beginning of the story?
This is the beginning of the
Because I've
story.
had more wasps and guinea wasps and everything else crawl
I
on
just
my
thought I'd
chest. So
throw
up
that
to
in
now,
there.
it's not been
That's
much.
the setup. That's
It's
the
kind
setup.
of a weird thing.
I thought it was more to the story. than
Yeah,
that.
it is. So they go to bed. It's about midnight. I'm laying in my little spot on the couch, and watching TV, starting to doze off. And all of a sudden, I feel like a sharp pain around my ear. It was like I jumped, and I was like, what was that? And so I started grabbing my ear, but I didn't feel anything. And so I was like, what was that? No big deal. So a couple minutes goes by, and all of a sudden, my ear begins to I don't know how to describe what it was doing.
Pulsate.
Pressure from the inside of my head started to build, and it was like, it was making a lot of racket. And I was like, what, I got water in my ear? That's what I was thinking. And I was like, no big deal. And about the time I said no big deal, a ferocious pain like I've never felt. The worst, I've been on the earth 50 years, the worst pain I've ever felt. I literally fell off the couch, got on my knees, and was like, oh! I thought something has happened that's terrible inside my head.
Like an aneurysm. You're thinking
Yeah,
you're
I
fixing
I was thinking my eardrum had ruptured, I thought, so I felt a sharp pain, which I started thinking about the wasp, I was like, what?
I
You're
killed
trying
a
to connect
wasp
the
on my
dots,
chest.
But I'm feeling there's nothing. So for the next hour, I literally rolled around on the floor, just writhing in pain. 1 hour. And I was thinking, if I can get to the truck, I'll drive to the ER because I'm dying. That's what I was thinking. Something in my head has exploded.
What's interesting is you weren't thinking if I could just get to Missy.
No, never crossed my mind. Which look,
most people be like, "I'll get to my wife."
Just more screams.
I can't believe you said that. See, I think I didn't go in there because she screamed over the last part. Now I'm dying.
Yeah.
I'm not
Now, this is something
I
to
just
scream
like
about.
this way of thinking. All right, go ahead.
So the pressure keeps building, keeps building, keeps building. And it just like it won't go away. And so I got a little disoriented, and so like I crawled to the bathroom, and I don't know what I'm looking for. I'm
relief.
So I open the bottom cabinet, and I'm looking, fumbling through, and I see some earwax remover. And so I thought,
How long does this story last?
pretty long. So I said, you know what? Something's in my ear. That's what I thought. Something's ruptured in my ear. I'm going to flush it. So I lean over, pour the earwax remover in my ear because they had a bulb with it.
Yeah.
And so I poured it in there, and then I started like squishing it out. When I did that, it got 10 times worse. Now I'm just like, I'm hollering in pain. I can't believe it didn't wake up.
I've been saying your family's still fast asleep.
Oh, everybody's asleep.
Oh, yeah.
My wife's got the fan going. About 2 hours later, I finally realized I got to go to the hospital. And so I crawl to my truck, open the door. It's 3 o'clock in the morning now. And as soon as I open the door handle, my ear exploded. And that's the only way it felt like. It just went poof. Well, when it did, I looked down, and there's a critter that exploded out of my ear, and it fell on my arm. And and the next day when I'm telling this story at the golf course, because I was in a golf tournament, I described what happened because I had never seen this critter. And I thought, what is this thing? Of course, I killed it. It was not a wasp. So this is the critter that was in my ear. You see that? The top picture?
And I guess we'll show a picture of this to
scorpion.
our audience.
No, it wasn't a scorpion. It looked like a scorpion. That's called an earwig.
A what?
Earwig.
Earwig.
Yeah. Look.
How
so you
I
had
learned to love the evil-looking earwig.
Yeah,
Jase, it's at this point, I know you're my second son, and you're not given to tangents or untrue statement.
Oh
but
my
is this a true story?
Yes. Look. So look, I'm at the golf course and I'm telling this story, Doc, because it was a traumatic experience. My ear was so sore, and I was like, I had a bug in my ear. Well, the guy, the greenskeeper or whatever at the golf course, he's majors. What's the word for whatever the horticulture or whatever? He knows every bug, every bug. He said that was an earwig. And I said, an earwig? Because I said, I don't know what this thing was.
Do they live in ears?
Look. So he Googled it. And when he pulled up this picture, I said, that was it. And he said, yeah, it's an earwig. Well, I started doing research on it. They call them earwigs because of folklore. They say that these things used to get in human ears and would try to lay eggs and eat your brains out. But they said it's all if you Google this, which I'm sure everybody listening to this, they'll Google it, and they're like, it's all folklore. And I'm like, no, they will get in your ear because one got in my ear, and those pinchers there. When I said it's a pain, that was going into my eardrum. That's what, look, blood, he broke the skin that I was bleeding out the ear because he was poking me. So I'm like, are you kidding me? Now, I don't think he was, they say, they can't get inside your head and eat your brains out. But what I'm saying is he was looking for a home. That's why I felt the pressure and all that. So I'm like, what are the odds that an earwig got in my ear?
On top of a guinea wasp on your chest.
In the same night.
Previously.
In the same night, I went to ULM. I came home. There was a wasp in my chest and an earwig in my ear.
The same night.
And they call it earwig because they say they wiggle in your ear. That's what they're called. But they're harmless. But let me tell you.
Your brother Al is just a bugged out dude. I mean, I don't know. I never heard a story like this.
I don't know if you're like a magnet. I'm not sure. I'm grappling with the moral of the story.
Well, you remember the story when Willie had the
water bug?
I remember.
Now, he had a water bug get in his ear, and you remember he was like, there was pain because he was fluttering his wing. And we took him to the ER.
I actually stood over him and said, "Hey, quit hollering." I didn't realize there was a bug in his ear until they took him to the doctor and got it out.
But they did the same thing. They flushed it. He was 15. They flushed his ear with stuff just like you were.
The flushing was a good move.
But look, it never occurred to me there was a bug in my ear. You know what I mean? Because I stuck my finger in my ear. I didn't feel the bug. I mean, this thing was big. It was about that long.
Oh my gosh!
It just coiled up in there and was just he hit me with.
Jase, that is one of the wildest stories I have ever heard come from a human being.
If you ever wanted to torture a human, you put an earwig in their ear.
This happened on Wrath of Khan on Star Trek. They put the thing in the guy's ear.
You know
it goes in there. It wraps itself around somebody was trying to mind control you. Some evil, person.
Look, I wake up the next morning, because I only got 3 hours sleep. I tell Missy, I'm like, you're not going to believe what happened to me. I tell her the story. And of course she said what you did. She's like, why didn't you wake me up? I said,
that was my first thought.
Well, I didn't know there was a bug in my ear. I thought I was dying.
Well, when you're dying, your wife might could help you out. She might.
That's what she said.
So how what's the word?
You talk about lone wolf.
Are there a lot of the earwigs running around?
Well, that's what I'm wondering. I want to sleep with earplugs now. You've everywhere. Totally frightened me.
They said they hang out like around houses and they're nocturnal. They only come out at night, but they look for like little holes and crevices, and they're like highly. They have a lot of bacteria because they and so I'm like, well, I'll know, and I'm giving it
Jase,
a week.
After this has happened, you're telling the story. But right now, at least, Al, he sounds perfectly normal.
He seems to be, but